My wife 37 female, and I 35 male met 10 years ago. We dated for 3 years before we got engaged for 1 year. We have 3-year-old twin girls. I can say we have a great marriage. Last week her brothers and sisters and their spouses came to visit. It had been long since we saw them, and the slightest chance they got they came to see us. Honestly, we had a good time catching up. We talked and chatted about different topics. Then the topic of infidelity came up. Her cousin had been cheated on by his wife, and we were talking how the guy was suffering and how horrible it is for him and how infidelity affects the BS, and etc. As the conversation was going on, I noticed my wife seemed distracted, like she was trying to forget some suppressed memories. She seemed not wanting to be involved in the conversation, and she kept excusing herself to get more drinks, to go to the bathroom, to check on the kids and etc. After my in-laws left, I confronted her, and that's when she told me that she has something to tell me. She sat me down and warned me what I was about to hear was going to be hurtful. She then went ahead to tell me that she had sex with her boss several times 2 months before our wedding and 3 weeks before I came back from a work trip abroad. She said before I left for my trip, we were not on good terms. That's true. 1 week before the trip we had had one huge argument which turned into a small fight. And at some point I had started withdrawing emotionally. Then this guy came and pushed the right buttons and worked his way into my then fiancé's pants. She vented to him about the struggles in our relationship, and he was there to support her emotionally. I can remember this time that the calls and the video chats had reduced. And when we talked it didn't last long as before, but I didn't much into it. They hooked up at his place, and even at our apartment and on our bed. This guy was married and he had 3 kids and was about 20 years old than my wife. She told me that their affair lasted 6 weeks out of the 4 months I was away for work. Then when she caught this guy was also sleeping with other women, she ended it. And that's when she realized she had been played by this guy. She felt ashamed and hated herself that she had fallen for a player. A few days after she had ended her affair, she discovered she was pregnant. She knew the AP would not support her, and if I discovered that she was pregnant I would leave her and her family would disown her, especially her father. So she decided to terminate the pregnancy. I remember her calling me crying and confessing her love for me and asking me whether I will ever leave her. Then she started blowing up my phone with love messages telling me she couldn't wait to see me and everything. Before she finished her confession, both of us were in tears. But rage and anger were eating me from inside, and I was trying really hard not to tell or break anything. She then went ahead to swear that she has never cheated on me during our marriage and that she has always wanted to confess, but didn't know how to do that. She said that when the conversation of her cousins came up, all the guilt came back in full force and hit her hard. That the memories she had tried to suppress were eating her up. I don't know what to do. I love my wife very much, and I say that I have been happily married for those 6 years and I don't want to lose anything right now. Not my girls, not my wife, not my house. But I don't know how to get over this. It has been 2 days since her confession, and honestly the only thing that keeps me moving is my 2 daughters. I trying to be strong for them, but I feel like losing my mind and going insane. Everything seems fake and like a lie. I have been sleeping in my car even though we have a spare bedroom. And I have started smoking again. And I'm trying to avoid my wife and as much as possible and ignoring anything that comes out of her mouth. I can't even look at her in the eyes. I'm lost. Any advice is appreciated, please. My wife is on her way home to confront me for cheating. I never have. How should I handle this? Been married 7 years. She just recently started this and I don't know why. I never do anything suspicious, and to me it seems so irrational. Last night I ate dinner with my grandpa and had drinks. My phone was on silent and she called 5 times in 5 minutes. I called her back 3 minutes after that and she freaked out. She was saying how she knew I was cheating all along, and this proves it. She was in bed when I got home. This morning she sent a text saying we are going to talk about my cheating tonight. She's on her way home. What should I do? It's so obvious that I was with my grandpa the whole time. Why would she suddenly start thinking I'm cheating? It's just been getting worse and worse. I don't know what to say during this talk. Update: talk never happened. She locked herself in the bedroom. Never said a word to me. It's going to be awkward when I go in there to go to bed later. Not sleeping in the spare room. Update: C was watching a show and I walked by the bedroom at a weird part and made a joke about it. She laughed and we talked casually. And I knew I'd be able to go to bed, so I went to bed a little while after that. I'm in bed now. She's asleep now, but earlier she shifted her body into cuddle positions several times pretending to be asleep. I know she was awake. Thanks for all the advice, but now I don't know what to think. Maybe she's feeling neglected. She's cheating, wants out of the relationship, or she's crazy. I know it has to one of those, but all of them seem so sudden. I've always been really confident in our relationship, and the thought of this happening now is just too much for me to accept. I'll let you know if I figure it out. Hopefully, final update. This is the most popular post I've ever had, so it's too hard to respond to all the comments. Thanks for the advice. Sorry I can't respond to all of you. We talked this morning and I think we're good now. She says she's feeling insecure and it all started a few months ago. Her parents invited us on a 2-week vacation and I decided not to go, but she wanted to go, so she is going along with our kid. The idea that I might be cheating got into her head and it just got worse and worse. Every time I came home from work late, went out with my friends, or was too tired for intercourse, it just got worse. To top it all off, one of her friends at work's husbands cheated recently. She also said that I've been distant to her and our 6-year-old for years, and she thinks I drink alcohol too much. I've always been like that because that's who I am. I told her I'll do better. I believe her story and don't think she's cheating or crazy. Thanks again, guys. If anything changes, I'll let you know. My male 37 wife, female 34, asked me if I wanted to sleep with other women while she recovers from pregnancy. What now? My wife had a baby 4 months ago. Thankfully, she and the baby are now perfectly okay. But the labor was pretty tough. And she's still getting back to her old self. Still healing physically. And adapting to this new lifestyle emotionally. She's really fatigued, we both are. I have a pretty high sex drive. But that obviously is the last thing that's been on my mind since she's come home, and not something that I've brought up at all. I figured when she was ready, she'd initiate something. She's never hesitated to initiate before. But last night she blurted out that she wasn't sure when she'd feel like having sex again. So if I wanted to see a woman for sexual purposes only, it was okay. I didn't really know what to say to that. Obviously, I have no interest in screwing around on my wife, the mother of my newborn. And the fact that it even crossed her mind to say makes me really nervous that I am missing some serious crisis of confidence and not doing enough to intervene. I said all the obvious things. I would never do that. I don't want to do that. You're the only person I ever want to be with, and that's why I married you, etc. But that doesn't feel like enough. I've been trying to get her to talk about it all day, but she won't have a conversation about it. Just saying. I get it. You don't want to. Great. Can we drop it, please? Not in a mad way. Really, just straight up avoiding it. I asked my brother, the only other married guy I'm close to, and the only thing he could think of is she was trying to tell me she wanted to see other people. But that doesn't really align with how our life has been progressing. The baby was planned. We've been married 7 years with a great, robust, healthy sex life before the baby. And she was clear when proposing this that I could not have a social relationship with any woman I picked. What do I do now? What does it mean that she even proposed that? Was she trying to be nice, or does she think I have so little self-control that I would cheat on her because I have to keep it zipped for a few months? I'm really at a loss, but I know whatever it is, it probably isn't nothing. Any advice, especially from people who have been through pregnancy?